So now let's say, for instance, we're going to start adding some text. So let's say, or actually, you know what, let's add a logo. So we're gonna go logo. Let's put that in the Open Sans. Great thing to do, guys, look at your Google fonts, what fonts work best. So for now, I'm just gonna call it logo. And I'm just gonna use my rectangle tool. And I'm gonna say color it that tone. And grab my logo, Command Shift square bracket to bring that forward. And then using these handy things to vertically and horizontally align. It's probably a bit big. There we go. So now we can turn our grid on and now we can get that in a nice cozy spot. Okay. So now we have our logo up there. And let's get some navigation in. So let's grab our text tool again, either by pressing T or clicking. We're just going to go ahead and call this section 1. Now we can go ahead and just duplicate. So 3 and 4, we'll just do 4. You guys will actually have these labeled because you're going to know exactly how you want your site to be. So this is where our navigation will be written. So same thing, and have that in that Open Sans. I'm going to leave it in the 20 point. I'm going to bring my grid up. I'm going to snap that over to the far right. And then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to just horizontally center those in there. And now everything's in this gray color, which is okay. But since we're working with these blue tones, we just want to keep everything consistent. So first thing, I actually didn't realize I still had a border on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these. And thanks to those colors, I'm just going to color them out like that. So at this stage, you might think, oh, maybe this background tone is a little dark. So we could either just go ahead and lighten it up like that, just to quickly get that tone right. Or you can go ahead and change your color. So what you want to do is add, say, your style fonts or your character styles. So we're going to use one of these. Super easy. We get to select one of them and we just go ahead and click character styles. So there it is. So now if we ever want our font size to be this size, we just need to go ahead and click that. Just for purposes. So let's just say, here is some text. Let me go ahead and re-click that. If I happen to go ahead and make it larger, but you're like, ooh, I kind of want to go back and make it this side, we select this and we click that and there it goes. So super easy. Okay. So let's say, for instance, now we want to go ahead and add an image here. So let's go over to our UI kit and let's just go ahead and find an image. I know there's one over here. So this is a great representation of where an image will be. It has that little mountain and sunshine graphics. I'm just going to Command C to copy and go back over to my demo, and I'm going to go ahead and paste. I kind of like it hanging over there a little bit, so maybe that's when I'll decide to bring that up. So these are all the little things you get to start refining. So let's now maybe add a little bit of copy here. Let's go back to well, this looks actually pretty good, so we can go ahead and copy that. And then let's go ahead and paste. So here we go. So now things are starting to come together. I'm going to give a little bit of extra breathing room from there. And that looks quite nice. Maybe we want to open up our boxes a bit more so everything spans across. So from here we can select, these are all grouped, Command Shift G to ungroup. And then we can maybe bring that all the way out and then bring that up. So your buttons are always grouped with your type here when you grab them. So Command Shift G to ungroup. And then you can snag that. And now we can decide how we want to fill it. So we can maybe fill it with white. Maybe our border, we're going to make, oops, our border is going to be a little fuller here. Oops, grab our eyedropper. I don't know why that's Oh, that's why. Eyedropper. There's that color. Okay, so now say for instance, this might be a button we always want. When you do paste those elements, for the most part, they will come up as buttons, but if they did not, you would just select both of those and group them, and then we would right click, make a component, and there we go, Shop Now just appeared. So say now I do like that this section title is in this font, and I really like the sans serif font for say like a headline 1. So again, I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna add that in there. So there's that Arial font, and I'm gonna select this, and I'm gonna add that in there. So now again, as I start to go through my site, I can start adding these little elements in there. So for the most part, folks, that's about it. So you're gonna start building out your pages based on your sketches. Again, if you do want to expand your site, if it was a one-page site, you're welcome to just continue this on as far as you would like that to go. In regards to adding a pop-up, that's the next thing I do want to go over. So you can either show a pop-up over off to the side and then communicate in your design file how that would be. But probably an easier way of doing this would be to select that desktop. This is also a great way of building out your other pages. I'm going to Command Shift and drag. So now that duplicates. So I'm going to call this Home with Pop-up. And that's desktop. Okay. So now we start to build our pop-up menu. So what we could do is, again, go back over to our elements here, our call to action section. So here's a nice one. It's got a nice little drop shadow on it. So let's just go ahead and copy that. Go back over to the demo. We're going to paste that sucker in there. And then when you just have your one element and you use these, it does use your artboard as your center point or as your point of that you're working with. So now that shows exactly what your pop-up is going to be, a required field. You know, maybe it's email. You would type in there that you want an email. And then you can also, in fact, do an actual page here or an actual artboard. Oops, gosh, I hit the wrong thing. An actual artboard for your pop-up, and that's always great for your developer to keep in handy. So then they just have that little piece separately. When you export, we'll go through all of that later. That will now be its own standalone element. So now, guys, that's about it. As I said, you continue to build out your pages. Use your basic first start point. So say your home page desktop, and now we've got, say, our secondary pages. So keep dragging them along, and let's just say this is going to be section 1. So the things that are going to probably stay would obviously be our navigation. We never want to move that, but perhaps maybe our color is going to slide all the way up there. And now we start to build out our subsections. So we can see maybe it's a portfolio page like this one. So again, we can click and drag, Command C, back to our demo, and Command V. So seeing where our grid is living, now we can go and expand that out as much as we want. So as we can see, this is now spilling over, so you can obviously do several things. We can open up this page a little bit more, or we can adjust all of these. So you would just continue to maybe bring this up, bring that up, etc. So looks like I took a few things with it. But I think you guys should hopefully get the idea of it. So making sure that your common elements stay common, like your navigation. If you are working with your grid, that's a great time to continue to work with your grid. Or to keep these turning the grid on and off, and just keep practicing on that and just continue to build out. Once you've nailed all of this down, then we can go ahead and start with our iPhone versions. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this element. We're going to decide how it's going to look in our mobile version. So where's that navigation going to live? Where's that picture going to live? Maybe the picture doesn't exist. Maybe the text doesn't exist. So you start to pick and choose what the hierarchy of your elements and what will be included and what isn't. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please let me know if you do have any questions. But have some fun, do some playing, use those elements because I promise you they will be your best friends.